G'day, g'day. Welcome to Gravesend Australia Diecast Salvage. Today, I'll be playing with two Dinky toy horse boxes. Hope to see you over the workbench in a moment, where we'll have a closer look at them. See you over there. Thank you for joining me here at the workbench. So, let's have a little gander as to these Dinky Super Toys horse boxes. Now, for the first thing you'll notice is they're supposed to be the same colour, but they're not. They haven't been repainted. So if you come across what I call rivet counters that they want to say, oh, you didn't get your colour right. No two vehicles are exactly the same. You can't go off the pictures from the internet because the camera will pick up the colours differently to what's in front of you. And when these things were painted, doesn't matter whether it was these or the Dinky buzzers in the background. When I get to those, I'll show you the big variations in their colours. Or even when you come to these, that's a game to call. But the corgis, the Matchbox cars, when you line them up, they're not exactly the same colour. It depends on the day that they were painted and where they were in the batch. Were they at the beginning or at the end? Anyway, enough waffling. Here we have our Dinky Super Toys horse boxes. Well, we'll start off with this one. This one is in a relatively good shape. It still does have the decals on here, but all scratched up. Lots of paint chips. The rear tyres, as you can see, really flat. As you can see there, Dinky Super Toys horse box, made in England, Meccano Limited. Our tyres have flat spots on them, so they've been sitting around for a while. No rear door is missing, or the rear door is missing, I should say, but it does have the side door. On it, and the front wheel arches are in excellent condition. They're not broken. No interior as such, no glass as such, but I think we'll add them to it. So that's that one. Now this one, well, what can I say? No decals on it, but that's not going to worry me. The tyres are in a lot better shape than the other one. They are hard, but what we may do is put them into some hot water to soften them up, but then again may not, because if you have a look at that tyre, she's a dry rot. So, but the inside is good, so we may just turn that tyre around. Well, what this one has, it has the rear tailgate. So guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be making a tailgate. This one's missing the side door. So we'll be making a side door as well. So it has the front wheel arch here has been chomped on, as has this one. So we've got to do a repair on that. Otherwise, both vehicles are not in that bad a condition. So my thinking is, yes, make the two doors that are required, but what I'll do is this one that has the good arches, they will get the original doors on both of these. And seeing as I've got to do a repair on this one, so we'll give them the, we'll give the manufactured doors, or my homemade doors, to this one. So it's time for a disassembly. So let me get my tools and I'll be right back. Now that didn't take long now, did it? Alright, so these have 3 posts, one up here and 2 down here. Now I've taken the liberty of using the burr tool on my Dremel just to take the top of the posts off. Just to take the top off. Did the same thing on the other one. Somebody beat me to it on here, but I did the same thing on that one and that one. Just took the top off. And from here, you can get your handy dandy screwdriver and just come into the side a little bit, just give it a bit of a wiggle, and then you should be able to lift it out. The same thing on the front, just you might need to give it a bit of a wiggle on the side so that it comes off the rivet post. So we'll just move that aside, move that over. So there's the base. It's fairly simple, rather grubby. So we'll give it a wash. The front axle is slightly bent, but as this vehicle's not going to be played with, I might just leave well enough alone. But I will make some new tyres for these. It is a roller at the moment, but I will make some new tyres for it. I'll put that to one side. And here is the main casting. Now, once the vehicle is apart, the door will slide out. So we'll put that aside. And that's the casting on here. What I'm going to do is get just a normal file, or one that's just to take the top of the posts off, just to make them nice and flat, so that the casting can go back in again. So we'll set that one aside. Again, yeah, so we'll lift out. Again, this one here, the axle is slightly bent, so we may straighten them out, we may not. But the tyres have definitely got to go, so we'll get there, and yeah, I think the bit of horse manure in there. The same thing with this. Again, now that the base is off, that can come out, and we can set that aside. So yeah, all right. So that's our vehicles apart. Now it's going to come stripping time. Now I've already been forewarned not to put these into caustic soda, so we're going to use something a little bit different, which will also take paint off, but just takes a little while. And I'll bring it back when I'm set up. So what I've done is, we've still got one of these castings in the Dettol and disinfectant solution. So as I said a few moments ago, we're going to leave that in for a few days to see how we go. But we may go really old school. I mean really old school. And for me, old school is just having a look at that door. She's a bit twisted, but that's all right. Go to the old school like I used to do as a kid. We used one of these, the handy dandy screwdriver. So I was able to get the paint off this side, and then I went over with the steel scourer. And in this case, the paint is coming off. It's very thin, quite easily. That's how we used to do it when we were kids. You know, like I said, see, for me, that's when I was playing with these, that was 50 odd years ago. So that gives you an idea how old I am. That's why I've got fumble fingers and waffle mouth and all the other. So that's what we can do with our doors. Makes a mess. And we should be able to do pretty much the same thing on our casting. I think we may be able to. Don't know yet. It's probably the same sort of thing why we don't get into the caustic soda with it, because the metal is different. Yes, it will come off. Needs a little bit more elbow grease, so I'll have to get fumble fingers to work a little bit harder. But as you can see, it will come off. Of course, it did back in the 50 odd years ago. So I'll continue with that off camera. Mess. And we'll see how this one soaks up. So we'll see you when these cars, or these horse boxes, are stripped. Unfortunately, we're not going to see much like we do with the caustic soda treatment in getting the paint stripping off, because we're going to be soaking in this bath for a couple of days at least. Now in here I do have Dettol, but I've ran out, didn't quite have enough, so I've added in some other disinfectant or something similar to the Dettol. So we'll see if that works, and all we're doing is just going to have the vehicles soaking in there for the next few days. So We'll come back when they're all stripped. So you can take a little break while I'll keep working. So while we've got that basting away to get the paint off the main casting, we're going to have to make some tyres, in that, as you saw in the intro, they were rather cooked. So I don't have a set of tyres that size previously made, so we're going to go through the process of how I make my tyres. So what I'm using is, you can use plasticine, you can use Play-Doh or something similar. You need to make a mould box. I'm just using a container that is big enough, or you can make a mould box out of Lego. You can make a mould box out of cardboard. You can use a container like that to make your mould as well. There's all sorts of things. That's up to you to decide as to what you're going to do. But in any case, I'm using this plastic container, and I've just put a layer of plasticine down, and to get it flat, as even as possible, just using the Lego, I've gone around and pressed it in. As you can see, it's the Lego stuck in place, which is fine. Just about go around your whole box so that they're all pretty much on the one level. Once you're satisfied that you have that part, this is the support for the first part of a two-part mould. So here we have our tyres, which I've nicked off a very good tyres that I've nicked from another casting, which is the right size. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to place them strategically, because we might use it as a key. Hang on, let's go there. Let's go a little bit further apart, Michael. This is where having your base pretty much as flat as possible, because we're going to now need to make a parting line. Am I happy with that? No, because I want that over there, and I want that about there. You just need to see where you're comfortable with having the piece that you're going to make a copy of, where it sits in the mould. I'm just pressing it just a touch in so that it holds up. So this one here, I might just move a little bit. That's better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is also, let's see if I've got something to make what's called a key. Sorry about the delay again, because we're not quite 100% prepared. That's all right. We will get there. It can be anything. It doesn't have to stay in there. If we just make some indentations. Where else do we want one? We might want one there. So we've made some keys, these marks here, so that when we come to it, I'll explain it a little bit better. Because I've got, excuse me, I have waffle mouth at the moment. So now that we've got our tyre just in, using our lock again, we're just going to press down. So that we get an even spread. What we're aiming for is to get, sorry for taking it out of shot, what we're aiming for is to get this about halfway in into the plasticine. That's what we're trying to aim for. We're almost there. We're not quite there. Just having another look. That one just needed to go that way a little bit. If you press it all in together at the same time, the parting line will be much easier. In the past, when I made the tyres, my parting lines weren't quite 100% in the centre. They were more skewed to one side. But we're just about there. And that's why I like using the clear container. A lot easier to see. There we go. That's that. Now where's my doohickey? Even though we've made the marks here and here, I'm going to do the same thing in the middle of the tyres. And the idea is, by hollowing out the centre like I'm doing here, is when we come to making the tyres in a two-part mould, the centres are going to be a lot easier to get out. So, just going to fiddle around with this for a moment. Just make sure those are defined. By using the plasticine, it doesn't disturb it as much. Where in the past, where I used Play-Doh, it moved. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready to pour the first part of the two-part mould. So what I'm using here is what's called liquid silicone. It is food grade. There's no particular brand. You can buy it off eBay, or if you have some of the hobby shops have them, some of the hardware stores have them. So this is the silicone part. We don't need a great deal. I'm fairly good at guessing how much I need, because I've made quite a few moulds. But if you're unsure, have some rice, and what you do is, at this stage, you fill fill your thing up with rice. Then with a clear container, pour the rice into there and mark your container, and that's how much silicon you need. This silicon you don't need to degas. Where's my... Sorry about that. You don't need to degas. There are lots of videos out there showing how to make moulds, two-part moulds, and they degas the silicon. You can do that if you wish, but for the amount that we're using here, I don't think it is necessary. Plus, I don't have a pot to do the degassing in. Right, now, this is the hardener, or the activator, as some people would say. And depending on how much activator you put in, this could be, that's enough, might even be too much. That might now set in a very short time, and I'm fairly sure it will, judging by the colour that I've got that silicon in. So I don't need to really wait overnight. It will cure, I dare say, within the hour. So once you've got your activator in, thoroughly mix. I always prefer a coloured activator so that you can see if you've mixed your silicon up completely. If it's all uniform colour, it's mixed and ready to pour. Now when it comes to pouring, you need to make the stream as thin as possible, and that's how you can get rid of a lot of the air as well. So you're going to see this now out of shot, but you will see the stream come in. We're just about to drop. And just keep that stream going, because the silicon will find its own level, just like water. And the idea is you keep it in the one spot so that you're not introducing air bubbles. So once you've got a fair bit, you can speed up the pouring process. Of course, this part here isn't subject to air bubbles, but where it's spreading, it can get air bubbles. But in any case, I'll stop waffling and keep a pouring. I'll just lift this up a little bit higher again to get that thin stream happening. So now it's like watching paint dry, I know. So we'll bring you back when this first part is cured and we do the second part of the pour. If you do get air bubbles coming up, just with a toothpick or something sharp, just give them a bit of a pop. Just release. That's all you need to do. Okay, so like I said already a couple of times, we'll bring you back when we're ready to pull this top part out, flip it over to pour the second half. See you there. Alright, so I'll let this part cure overnight. As you can see, nice and hard and stiff. And all we're doing is getting the screwdriver down the end, or something else to lever out the silicone. Almost stab fumble fingers. There we go. Just need to collect an end, and the whole thing should come out. Hoping that the tyres stay in place. One tyre came out, but that's fine. That's the idea of keeping the tyre in place. Keeps all the markings where they should be. So now we get rid of the plasticine. Get that out. We'll clean this up a little bit and we'll bring you back. So we've mixed up another batch to go in. Just the same process as before. Before we do that, we have forgotten something. We have forgotten to do something. We need to use what's called a release agent, so the silicone doesn't stick to itself. So all we're using is petroleum jelly, like Vaseline. You could use cooking oil. Oops, a tyre just popped out. 2 tyres popped out. It happens. You just don't want the just push them back into place with tread. Just do a check to make sure that they're level, like they were beforehand. Not quite. We're almost there. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. You probably can hear in my voice that I think I'm starting to get a cold. I did do a test to see if I had COVID, but I don't. And touch wood, I haven't had it yet. We're now 2023. So it's the first time I've had a cold in a number of years. So I'll just do another rapid antigen test later on this afternoon. But yeah, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. But now that I've said it, guess what's going to happen? So, same as before. This is the other half of our 2-part mould. Just move the cup a little bit. So again, I shall bring everybody back when this has been set. Okay, so while we're waiting for the second part of the silicone to cure, we'll have a look at our disinfectant monstrosity here, our disinfectant soup. Now, just before we pull it out, now you don't have to use liquid silicone from the hardware store, because that's roughly about that 1 kilo tub that I use. That's roughly about 34 Australian dollars. You can use the silicone that you can buy from your hardware store, the caulking stuff for around the bathtub. You could use a hot glue gun, the glue from a hot glue gun, to make your mould. You could use plasticine by itself, or you can use what's called polymorph plastic, which is the stuff, or some people call it blue stuff, but that's just a part of a polymorph plastic that all you do is reheat the plastic in boiling water so that you can reshape it. Anyway, waffle mouth is here. As you can hear, he's not in the best condition. So let's have a look to see what we've got. Just get the water out. And look at that. Now that should. That is coming away very nicely. And where is my... Again, I don't have things where they should be. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I know where it is. It's in another drawer. And that ain't the drawer. That ain't the drawer. That's certainly not the drawer. Someone's nicked it. That's alright. We can use this instead. So, look at that. That I'm impressed with. I'm impressed with that. So I will take that over to the sink to wash that off. The same thing with the other truck, because I've stuck that in there as well, because I got tired of scratching and so forth. So we'll be back when these are ready to be polished up a little bit. See you there. There's Marty from Marty's Matchbox Makeovers would say. Oh, I'm happy with that. So most of the paint has come off using the disinfectant soup. Don't necessarily need to have the Dettol. Just a cheap brand of disinfectant, I think will do. Well, it did the job on here. While it didn't take it off 100%, it took most of it off. So I took the advice of some DMC members, but this one I'm quite happy to take, and did not put the truck into caustic soda. So just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to use the brass wire brush on the drill to make this one shiny. So we'll bring you back when both are shiny. See you there. All right, time to make our tyres. We're using sealant. Just do it like that. So that's just doing the one set. I'll do the rest off camera, and we'll see when we pull them out. Catch you in a moment. Just a bit of an update by using a baking powder and super duper glue. Nicked it off Martin there. We've been, excuse me, managed to fix up this fender and also the broken part of this fender. So we're ready to prime this bad boy. So I'll bring you back in a moment because we're about to make these doors. And next time you'll see this casting and its partner is when they're in primer. So stand by, we'll start making a mould for our doors. Just like the tyres, we are using my voice isn't staying, use the plasticine to make a external base or an extended base. And all we're doing is doing a best fit in our mould box. And I'll show you how I did that. Is just get some plasticine. Sorry about that. And you want to get it roughly to the shape where you need it, just by pressing it out to all the corners. It doesn't have to be that perfect right now because we are going to do some more manipulation, don't forget. We're just trying to I could just put that in there like that, But what I'm doing now is just giving it a flat bottom like I gave that one. We got Mr. Croaky today, Mr. Croaky. And then all we're doing is slicing off our excess. Because then we only need to then put it in our mould box when we are ready. Just get you back into camera shot. That might be helpful so you can understand or see what I'm doing. Now we have got hinges here and here, so we're just looking for evenness at the moment. We're not quite there yet. I know I'm out of camera, but I'm just doing a bit of a squeeze on the plasticine to get it a little bit better to where I want it. So we've just squeezed out a little bit more. So we're going to cut down towards the hinge. Not too worried about here having holes down the bottom here because this is a two-part mould again. We're just trying to prep the mould so it's nice and easy. So if I can get it off this cardboard. Just doing a little bit off camera. As I say, or as I say, when you do it on camera, everything goes to pot. So just wanting to get the hinge part right, so we actually get round part of the hinge. Excuse me. So that is just about ready. Just going to take this part of the hinge, just so we get that. There we go. That hinge is right. This other hinge is right. So after I've done the first part of that mould, I can go straight away and make that one. So now it's a matter of mixing up the silicone like I did with the tyres, and we do a two-part that way. So we'll come back when we're ready to make resin doors, because I don't need to show you how to pour the silicone mould, because we already did that when we did the tyres. So I'll see you. You'll see me shortly. I'm not. It might be another day or two before I get back to this. So you see me shortly, catch it in. So we're at the making part stage again to make our resin. So let's see how we did with our moulds, with our doors. So there's that part, and of course the rear part of the door. So that's ready for some resin, which we have down below. We have to put it together yet while I'm dropping things out of camera shot. So we'll put the doors aside for the moment, and the same thing with this one. Doors in there. I will pop that door out. Need to give it a bit of a clean out by the looks of things. Just bear with me for a moment, ladies and gents. Usually what you have to do with the, when you're cleaning it, you need to clean out the mould to so you can get a clean casting. And that's all I'm doing, is just cleaning out where we might have an issue. We can move that door out the way. So we'll have one opening that way. We'll have one opening that way. And all we're doing now is we're using a two-part resin, part A and part B. And the reason why I've got this here is so that I'll get some other stuff as well. It doesn't matter what it is, because you're always going to make, most likely always mix up too much of what you need. I'm just seeing what other moulds I've got to use. What have we got here? Nope, we're not going to use that one. That's for something else. Anyway, that should usually do. I'm fiddling around here. Alright, so it's not going to matter which I put into my mixing cup first. That's not going to matter. The thing that's going to matter is this is a 1-to-1 ratio of resin, and we'll open this up carefully. Always wear protection. Let's make sure that we've got much out as we can. Put that one to one side. You have about 5 minutes working time with this resin, so we need to work fairly quickly. And I do have it in this clear beaker so that you can see what the mixing is going to be like. I'll clean up those little shot glasses in a moment. So, and what we do now is we just give it a good stir. I'll get my fingers out the way. Just make sure that it is thoroughly mixed. And then it's a matter of pouring it into our mould. Now we don't need to go to full height. What we do need to do is make sure that we go into all the corners first. Same thing on this one. So we're just going to go slosh it in around first, and then we shall close our lid. Because we've got an air pocket in there. As you've just heard that, and we've got coming out. Same thing on this side. Just get it to close up nicely. And like I said, we have a little bit left over, so we'll use it in making something else. And whether it be, you know, sort of ties for a diorama or something, it all gets useful. So I'll close this one up as well. And what will happen is there's a thermal reaction that happens, and eventually you'll see this here turn white or cream colour is what will happen. And when we see that, we know that this will be almost ready. In the cup here, the landlady is mowing the lawn. It's already starting to form a bit of a gel. So it is warm down the bottom of that, and we'll come back when that is ready, so you don't have to listen to the lawnmower. Alright, we have our tyres on. On both castings. They do roll. Okay. Next comes the painting. And I'll only show painting of one of these. The other one, you'll have to guess. Truth time. So I've got another Matchbox Ford pickup grill to my collection. So I've got more grills than what I have of the pickups. A couple of tyres that I can use for dioramas. Doesn't go to waste. And here we have, that's all nice and hard. There's a joke in there, Joyce. We'll just peel off some of this extra flashing. Let's see if it crunches off. Let's get rid of most of it. I know you're saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Don't forget, I'm a sick man. I'm still getting over the flu I've had for the last few days. So let's see how we came out. If we take it easy. Don't forget, this is only flashing up the top here. So, very first casting. these doors. So we'll see how we go. Just to take a little bit easy. Okay, we have a couple of air bubbles in here, but I'm not too worried about that because this is my truck. Nobody else's but mine. So I can live with that. Others may not. So we're just going to take it's still fairly soft. Hasn't cured at 100% yet. I may be rushing this a little bit. But for your purposes, it should be fine. Okay. I know, I can hear you guys, I can hear you. So hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So, there is one door. So there is a bit of fettling work, bit of filing to do, but it's no worse than what you get from the reproduction people. So that's the one door. So let's have a look. Let's have a little gander at the other. So you try and open this same way. I'm going to separate it out. Tease it out of the moulding. And there we have 2 doors. So what I'm going to do now is I'll clean these up off camera, clean up this area, and we'll be back. I'm still trying to shake off this flu that I've got, but we've made one set of tyres already, and you see me assemble it. Now we're going to pull it apart for the second set of tyres. And I'm using the polyurethane rubber, which is similar to what they use to glue the modern day windscreens onto your car. Now you should be able to pick it up from your local hardware store, because that's where I got mine from. And if we've done it right, we should have, again, another set of tyres. Now these are the same size tyres for the, for a fire engine, the Wayne school bus, the camera vehicles, the BBC and the other one. They all use the same tyres, and because we're doing it on camera, that's why we're struggling a little bit. Even Waffle Mouth is having problems. So we can put that aside because we'll be using that again. Don't have to make another one. And that leaves us with our 4 tyres, and still need to do a little bit of trimming to get rid of the flashing. But there won't be all that much to get rid of. if we've done it right. We'll just separate it all from the main piece. So that's separated. Now if I let this just dry a little bit more, we should be able to just pull a lot of that off. But as you see, the casting is here in the middle, and we didn't have to do much with the center because we put that extra piece through. So to trim, Pole Restorer uses nail clippers. I don't have any with me right at this very moment. I just use the small pair of scissors, and because I'm doing it looking through the camera, it's making it a little bit difficult. So I'll just look down the side of it and try and keep you guys in shot. Mike, excuse me. Like I said, still getting over the cold. So we can get our casting. Make it all sit nicely. And there we have our wheel. There we go. And you'll see that she is all turning. And we'll come back when they're all complete. Now these two vehicles are still in primer at this stage, and still deciding on colours. So we'll bring you back shortly. As you see, we have the horse box now masked up, just like this one. This is paint and primer. So we're now going to give it some colour. I'll only show you one being painted, that one. And the other one I shall do off camera. The colour we're using is a Indian red from Dulux Paints. So, well, before we actually paint, we might need to put a bit of protection around the back area. Even though the car's in the background. So here's what happens when you're not prepared. Even though the car's in the background will eventually get restored, we don't need to give them too much paint or overspray. It's cold in the mornings these days. Almost spilt my paint. I didn't need to. Alright, let's get going again. So, and the paint will come out very nicely, as you can see. And that's it. So the rest of it we shall do off camera, and you shall see the reveal. See you there. This is a reminder as to what I started with on these two Dinky horse boxes. And here we are now. Here is the reveal of our Dinky Super Toys horse box. These were originally in the maroon British Railway colours. I've made them my own colours. But had I painted them back to original, this Indian red from Dulux would have been a very close match. But I've decided not to do that. So what else did we do with them? Well, we've made new tyres all round for both vehicles. This is the one that has the original doors on it. This one that's coming up now has my reproduction doors on it, ones that I've made myself. The other things that we've done with, of course, we've painted the grille, the headlights on both of them. We've put in a rhinestone taillight. But the other thing that we've done with this one is that we've repaired the front fenders on both sides using super glue and baking powder. This was a fun little build. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you haven't. But the idea is, I hope you enjoyed the video. That's the thing that I'm hoping that you get out of it. The enjoyment, just like I do. And we'll catch you next time. Graves in Australia, Diecast Salvage. Bye for now.